DC Comics have always been a monumental statement, a part of my life that makes me who I am. So what better video to make than ranking all the DCEU movies? Check it out. So, realistically, right? This isn't going to be hard, but it is going to be I'm damn near going to make a video out of this, right? So let's start with this, right? Where's Man of Steel at? Man of Steel. Here it is. Okay. So I'm putting this in order of like from what can't like date by date. So it was a like amazing. Supreme. Let's Supreme. Okay. B is almost, and C is come on now with the emoji. I'll put the emoji in there. Yep. D is why was this made? F is F I N F U C K I N G. Failure. Then haven't watched because it's bad, obviously. But yeah, so I want to start off with Man of Steel. Man of Steel is definitely going supreme S tier, and this is why. On the most simple basis of you haven't seen a Superman movie since a live action one at least since like Superman Returns, and that was like in like 2008, bro. And that was just bad for a shit ton of reasons. But then, like, when they came out with this, one, Zack Snyder was working on it, so I knew directing wise, it was gonna be fine. The choice to make Zod the main antagonist and the villainry and everything, and the dynamic between Michael Shannon and Henry Cavill really worked really good together. I love that. That was really good. And on top of that, like I said, when Zack Snyder directs his actual special effects, his VFX, everything like is top notch, bro. So it's just like that was amazing. I love Man of Steel, and the crazy thing is I don't hate Superman. I've over the years learned to like accept him as a character in the sense of like he's pretty okay as a character. He's not as shit as I believed him to be before. Um, but you know, yeah, like Man of Steel is definitely supreme tier. Now, coming right out of the box, right after that, we got Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice. And this is what I'll say. I'll put it at. Hold on. You know what? No, we're going to change it. I'll put it at almost only because for as much as writing credibility that they gave Zack Snyder for, and for as much as he, I guess, tried to make the pieces fit, Warner Brothers, and I can't stress this enough, for as much blame that you can put on Zack Snyder for writing this kind of bad, it's just like, it was badly written to a degree, but the world and the narrative that he had for those characters for that movie would have been, well, were easily explained through the director's cut of the movie, not the theatrical cut. So honestly, it's like the stuff that he wrote in the theatrical cut when they showed it. had a lot of plot holes missing. But if you watch the director's cut, which was originally supposed to be in the movies, like it filled up all the plot holes that were missed. So it was written badly, but on the sense of like it was a time manner. Two, I've been a DC fan probably my whole entire life, bro, and I feel like just imagine how people that are DC fans that are damn near still alive or been alive to like witness stuff like this or want to see this in live action when it actually happens. For instance, the Batman and Superman fight when it happens is still gonna, I don't care what anyone says, it's still gonna be one of the greatest fight scenes, superhero fight scenes to this day. It just is, bro. You have two iconic superheroes that have been around since the 30s, bro. Regardless of if it's the late 30s or not, it's the 30s, bro. These two characters have been around for years, and to finally see them two clashing each other was phenomenal, bro. The choreography between the fight could have been probably better, but it's also just like it has to be somewhat realistic. Like I wasn't when I seen this movie, the warehouse scene with Batman was cool, but when I saw him in the suit the first time, I was like, I don't expect him to be that agile because physically he's not going to be able to move like that, right? But then when I saw that warehouse scene, I was like, bruh, we need more. I was like, I'm sold on Batfleck. After I saw that, I was like, I'm sold on Batfleck. And even kind of in the beginning, too, when I seen him, like, saving a little girl, asking her if she's okay, talking, like, training and everything. I was like, he reminds me of the animated series Batman, which is cool, too. And I think there were plans for Ben to have his own Batfleck movie, but it's just like, it never fell through on both accords because for as much as you can say he backed away from it because he didn't want to direct it no more and all this stuff. It's just like, yeah, but like, why didn't he want to direct it? Because Warner Brothers, ever since this era of movies have been coming out, have been just putting everything on a time slot, one. And then two, it's just like, they're thinking that these movies can be made in an MCU style fashion. It's like, these aren't MCU movies. These aren't MCU characters. This is not the Marvel Universe. It's not. So Warner Brothers, stop making it. Stop trying to be like them when you're not them. You're honestly better. And if you had better directors and better people who knew how to write some of the stories on this list a little more like relevant to what some of the stories originally were in the comics, it's like you would have an edge over Marvel, even if Marvel had 10 years to perfect their formula. You've had characters that have been around longer. That's why Man of Steel, like that story, when I see Man of Steel, that only reminds me of the Christopher Reeve movie, the second Superman, but updated. And it was badass. It's a better version of Superman 2. That's literally what Man of Steel really is if you think about it. Except for the, like him coming to the planet the first time, getting his bearings together, all that stuff is but for a first time villain, you not introducing Lex Luthor or anybody super extreme out of the gate, for him to fight the trio of Zod, the chick and the guy, whatever their names are, it's just like that was a good narrative. And I think that was perfect for what it was, the Superman movie that we deserved. It was the one that we needed, but we didn't deserve it. Especially after, like I feel like by the time this came out, this is what low-key restored Superman's respect, honestly. I gotta say, this is media and film wise for Superman's, like that niche of Superman people who like the movies and just entertainment stuff, not the comics and everything, but just like that movie saved y'all. That movie saved y'all, bro. All right, so next movie we're gonna have here is I think it was Wonder Woman. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're gonna do Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is also S-class. I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of people don't understand how simple and basic Wonder Woman's character is. She is so intertwined with Greek mythology, bro. You would think that her story actually is a mythological like story in Greek mythology, which it's not. But it's just like you can do a lot with that story, but it's not complex, which is why in the first movie it was perfect. Her origin was perfect. They explained how she was born, trials that someone had to go through, and the first person she fights is Ares, which usually ends up being her villain 9 times out of 10 if it's not another mythological god that she's fighting. So it's just like it makes perfect sense why that's there. It just does, bro. Time wise, I don't think the movie overshot too long. I think it was like an hour and some change. It wasn't that bad. The build up was nice. Steve Trevor was really cool too. Even though he definitely pulled a Captain America by the end of that, and that's when you could see, like I said, when they made the decision to do that, to make him like, oh, well, he has to he's gonna blow up in the explosion when he like rides away in the sunset in the plane and stuff, so he can sacrifice. I'm just like, now did let me I gotta find the director for that, or the writer who wrote Wonder Woman. Hold on. Alan Heinberg. And Zack Snyder had something to do with that story too, and Jeff Johns. And Jeff Johns at the time. And another thing is, a lot of people don't know this either. A lot of people don't like a good majority of these movies. You know why? Because a lot of WB's executives were basing half of these fucking stories off of that garbage fucking New 52 bullshit that was new into the DC like universe and stuff. And it's like, if a lot of people don't know, like, that era of comics with New 52 was so fucking garbage, bro. That was DC's version of the Ultimate Universe. And when that shit dropped, bro, everybody hated that shit so much. And I can't blame them, because it's like some of the shit, a good majority of the shit sucked. If it wasn't Batman, any of the Bat family, or like Shazam, the Shazam movie, this movie in the DCEU is verbatim the New 52 comic book, the comic storyline. That's exactly what it is. And it's like, it's not bad, but it's especially for Shazam, because I'll explain that later, but like, it's just like, bro, like with the Wonder Woman thing, it was straight to the point, it was basic, but it's like that New 52 shit was horrible. That's why I'll explain it after this, because the next movie is up. But when they decided to they announced Justice League was coming out. You even seen it in Batman v Superman. Bruce is on the files. He's looking at everybody's contingency thing. Cyborg is being born. And I'm just like, fuck me, bro. I'm just like, do not do this. Do not put Cyborg on the Justice League. Please. Please. And the crazy thing is, all this is happening under WB, who, one, already have a Titan show out. And by that time the Justice League movie came out, I think Cyborg was on the Doom Patrol show. They like just introduced him. And I'm just like, why are y'all doing this? I'm just like, why are y'all doing this? When low-key, for as much shit that I can talk about the Titan series, the actors, perfect. I wouldn't have picked any other group of individuals to play the characters that they did. I'll get into that in another video, but it's just like, I could have seen whoever played Dick Grayson in the Titans being Ben Affleck's Robin or Nightwing. I could have seen that. So it's just like it was a lot of they had plenty of opportunities. I just feel like to connect the dots, but like eventually, like all things do happen in the comic universe, the multiverse shit got involved, and they were just like, no, that's a separate universe. That's why when you saw Titans and you finally saw who was playing Bruce Wayne, it was just horrible because it was just like, is this guy supposed to be Adam West, Bruce Batman? Because like, how fucking old is he? It was bad. It was bad. Um, but yeah, that decision to pull a essentially like suicide thing and just blowing himself up. Steve Trevor was like a that was definitely a Captain America move, and I don't know if any of them like I said, whoever wrote the story along with Zack Snyder and Jeff Johns and all of them were just like, you know, we should pull a Captain America. Let's rewatch that movie and Captain America dies the same exact way our character should die. So let's write that into this. I could tell that was like they got that from the MCU. They couldn't find any type of way to like make him die in a completely different way. Even if he still sacrificed himself. Like Ares throws a spear at Diana and he jumps in to block it or something like that. It's just like I think the sacrifice would have been cool if like everyone but Steve Trevor on that mission, like the guys that he was with, the other race of individuals, they got on the plane, tried to stop it, and they were like, we can't stop this, we got to blow it up ourselves. And that's how that team dies. But then Steve Trevor dies when he like steps in and saves Diana from like the blade that Ares is like perfect ending. So next we have Justice League, and I know you guys see two versions of it on here. The Snyder Justice League comes later, but for now, I don't even want to do this, bro. Like, hold on. It's not that Justice League. It's not Jeff Johns. Yeah, who? Because he did the Avengers too. Yeah, Joss Whedon, man. You know what? No. Because what's crazy is these should be switched. Like, come on now, and why was this made should be switched, honestly. But it's just like the first cut of Justice League was bad for a very numerous amount of reasons, which is why I don't really have a lot of pushback when people try to argue about that. But these movies up here, I'll definitely fight for. But this shit, and when it first came out, I was just sitting there stunned, just like, it reminded me of, like I said earlier, Joss Whedon directed the Avengers, screenplayed, and I think directed the first Avengers movie. That was like in 2012. The bright colors, the everyone's a hero, redemption arc, like bright everything. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and the Flash are not the Avengers, bro. They're not the Avengers. They are not the Avengers. They're not. So when Zack Snyder left this project due to some very reasonable reasons, and Warner Brothers wanted Joss Whedon to finish the movie out, he not only finished it, but he damn near rewrote a whole bunch of stuff and took 4 hours of footage away from the movie. Once again, this type of problem. Why are you taking out 4 hours of footage? And the crazy thing is, when this one gets released, the Snyder version of the cut, everyone's all boo-hoo. Oh, that era of Snyder movies is dead. Y'all should have just let it die. Y'all should just. And then when you look at the 3-hour movie that he produced, that shit should have been in the movie theaters. And I wonder why. One, you got 3 hours of footage missing. Two, the 3 hours of footage missing included the plot holes that were never fully understood in the Joss Whedon cut. And then three, the action and just the cinematography of the shit was just way better. It was just better. Because Zack Snyder understands these characters. Joss Whedon, not saying that he doesn't understand them, but he thinks that they're Marvel characters. He just thinks that they're not just superheroes. They're DC. They're not Marvel characters. You can't write a DC movie like a Marvel movie. That should be fucking illegal. On a simple fact of like, oh, they're superhero movies, so as long as it has action and explosions and things like that, that's all action comic book fans want to see anyway in the movie. And it's like, no, we don't, bro. Especially for characters that have been around since the 30s. That explosions and all the cotton candy Marvel shit isn't gonna feed DC people's attention. It's just not. So it was shit. And it failed. So now, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it was a failure. It was a failure. And from this day on, after this day right here, everybody hated DC. And look at this. It only took them 4 movies to fuck up. It took Warner Brothers 4 movies just to fuck up a plethora of what could have been in this entertainment, bro. So now what comes out after this? You get, I'm pretty sure Shazam was next and then Aquaman. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look this up. Oh, I skipped one. So yeah, I did Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. How could I forget? How could I forget? Suicide Squad. Now, once again, we're still in this era of New 52-ish, people trying to get their bearings together with some of these things. And my whole thing is this. Comic-wise, the Suicide Squad picked up after this movie. But when you listen to why this movie was even made, is a fucking joke, bruh. It was a joke because it was low-key a cop-out for people are tired of heroes, so let's write about villains. That's exactly what this shit was. And this came out before Wonder Woman. I made a mistake earlier in the listing. This came out before Wonder Woman, and it came out before the first Justice League, right? Bruh. It was, and my whole thing is, like, not even comic-wise, movie-wise, too, it's just like, people are tired of superheroes, so let's make a movie not about about villains, but it can't be a heist film, because that would be too on the nose. They can't just steal something. No, they gotta fight a god-level tier character that no one has seen in years, and no one has any fucking clue who they are. And it's just like, the casting on top of all that too, bro, bro. To think that in any world whatsoever, to think that in any world whatsoever, that let me hold on. First appearance in Batman number 59, 1950, bro. 1950. Floyd Lawton. Now, this is how simple this is all these writers had to do. Which they probably did, but fuck it. Bro. Look at this clown shit, bro. And even when they upgrade him, look at this shit, bro. It's a white guy, right? We all see that he's a rich white guy, right? I'll talk about this later, cause that's another thing too, and we'll get into it today because I gotta talk about the other Suicide Squad movie as well. But Deadshot is white, and I cannot stress this enough. I hate stupid tokenizations. Stupid ones. Not all of them, just ones that genuinely don't make any fucking sense. In the sense of DC, you showed this man in two forms of media so far. One including live action on the CW, like we just saw with the Arrowverse and stuff. The other medium was in the Arkham games and the Batman games that we've seen. And he was white. He was white in the comics when you showed him in the comics. He was white in New 52 when you showed him in New 52. Maybe a little bit of alterations in his story, which were also fucking dumb. Because now they made him, in New 52, they made him like I need to do this to survive. No, he's been rich his whole entire comic career. And he has a daughter now that he has to provide. It was just, what are we doing? And then when they came out with this movie, you picked Will Smith out of all people to play this person. You know what I think the DC and the Warner Bros. Execs were thinking that when they picked him, they were like, you know what we have to watch? This is how we're going to determine if Will Smith is a good fit. We got to get the Wild Wild West on DVD. And just look at that gun-slinging right there. Got to put him in a suit. He's the best shot around. Get this guy a gun. And he fucking failed. It was horrible. The acting was horrible. And the same thing goes for fucking Killer Croc, man. Once again, I can't stress this enough, man. And I'll emphasize more on this when I get to the other Suicide Squad movie. Why is it so hard? The VFX people and the just break it down to me, please. Just break it down to me. Why is it so hard to CGI or do very good, believable, in the sense of comics, like pay respects to these characters? Why is this so hard for y'all? Do you know what Killer Croc looks like in the like? Hold on. Got it. Here we go again. Look at this. He's a fucking crocodile, bro. Like, and look at this. What is this? It's just like, look at that. And that's a toy. Bro, like, he's essentially Bane and the Lizard mixed together. Why even do makeup and why? Why? You don't need to. Just CGI him. And he would have been, you could tell, like, even in the movie, he was damn near useless. He wasn't even really doing anything. He wasn't the muscle that they should have had. Like, the only good thing or minor detail that I could say came out of this movie that was good was Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. And that's it. That's it. That's it and that's all. That's the only thing that came out of that movie that genuinely felt like you guys took your time with the acting, as far as like acting, casting and everything, casting calls and stuff for her. But then also y'all got who Harley Quinn was. I can't say the same for Jared Leto's Joker. I'm sorry. That was probably the worst